Hello, hello. Welcome back or welcome to Soul Whispers with Michelle. This is a soul-led message, which means if it doesn't resonate, you're fighting with the story in any sort of way, or you just find it confusing, please leave it behind for the souls that it's meant to find. May love hold you, may truth guide you, and may you be released from whatever is not yours. And so it is, my friends. All right. It's really interesting because I'm trying to, I'm trying to feel out how I want to shuffle this. I think I got it though. Okay, here we go. Here we go. It's really interesting. The energy coming through, even before I get into the cards, feels like nervousness. I guess really like what do I want to say? A nervous system activation. It's so interesting because I was feeling really cool, calm, and collected really right up until I pressed play. Okay, so let's see what energy is coming through with this. We're going to the compass. All right, crown chakra. I think this could be why your nervous system is a little bit triggered. When we're talking about the crown chakra, it's like all the information that you're receiving. And at this point, it could be in a position where you're just receiving so much information that that's why you feel a bit disoriented and why the nervous system might be acting up. Not that there's any fear going on, but just really the energy of the uncertainty with the information I feel like you're receiving. All right, let's see the phase we're in with this crown chakra. It's so funny. My thumb is hurting. Detour. Interesting. This is really giving like you have gotten some download or we'll just say some insight, and it's really making you pivot from what you knew to be true previously. So it feels like whatever information you received is just making you like, gotta go this way. Let's see what you don't see. Reconcile. It's almost like you don't see how the information you've gotten is actually going to reconcile something within your life. Let's see what that higher wisdom is. Third eye. Third eye chakra. The wisdom is your vision. I feel like it's once you reconcile that what you don't see coming is that you're going to be able to reconcile this energy that you are currently experiencing. This difference of where the information you're going, where you understand you have to pivot with the reconciliation of the way that you feel about it. But also the higher knowledge is more of, I see the direction very clearly. And I think that's why you're going to be able to reconcile this pivot, because you will be able to see it more clearly. Let's see the key to, what do we want to say? I would say the key to accepting, or the key, what is the key to being open to this information? Planning. That makes sense with that third eye chakra, because if you are, the key in planning it out is it makes you visualize the future because you're putting things into place. So it allows your vision to kind of open up. But I'm also seeing, like, I'm actually like seeing somebody writing down on a paper, like it would go this way, okay, but then this would be blocked. And I'm seeing the person or you, this collective, kind of looking at that blocked, and whether you're able to come up with it in the moment or come back to it and reconcile that block. Like you're going to be able to come back to it maybe after sitting with it, or again, even immediately, and being able to be like, okay, well, if this occurs, we can go this way. It feels fluid though. It doesn't mean it's set in stone. What this feels like more so is that this is strengthening your ability to work with or work through or almost work in tandem and alignment with the obstacles that come up, as opposed to allowing the nervous system to act up, and then that tends to lead to more irrational type behavior or more shadow type behavior, where we go to what was familiar even though it's not necessarily what fulfills us any longer. Okay, let's see what there is to learn about this information you've received. We have sacral chakra. I think it's learning how to it's almost like you have to learn your desire with the information that came through. Like, meaning there's something more to uncover. There's some sort of passion, like extreme passion, something you really, really desire that is yet to be learned as it relates to the information that came in. Again, making me feel like you are in this situation where you don't necessarily see or feel that desire because the nervous system is a bit activated. But again, I do see that there is going to be some sort of reconciliation with that. And then from this reconciliation, and I think the more you plan to, that key in planning, I think is going to build up this desire. Because it's like, oh, then I can do this, and then I can do this. It's like it keeps catching the more and more you plan around it, or the more and more you focus your energy on it. Let's see the foundation that's going to be built from that, from discovering the desire attached with this information that you received. We've got strength. Well, hot diggity dog. That's kind of what I was seeing within this for you, is that I really feel like ultimately, and not just this particular thing, this feels bigger in the energetic realm of the strength is going to carry with you in all areas, because it really feels like it's about the strength to endure or sit in stillness while your nervous system is activated. Again, this does not mean you don't feel your emotions. And when I mean sit in stillness, it's more along the lines of not making big decisions, but doing what you need to do to nurture the emotion that you're feeling so that it releases from your body so you can see the clarity. Okay, like what keeps you in alignment with this information that you received? What keeps you in alignment with the information you received? Boundaries. I would just be careful who you share it with. That's what came up for me right away is I feel like because it may be new to you, and because whatever this is triggered the nervous system, it seems like there needs to be a boundary around who you're sharing this very vulnerable information with, so that it doesn't sway you or move you outside of yourself. Putting a boundary around talking about this information you received with who you really feel can give you a balanced, neutral perspective. It's so funny because I'm hearing like me, but I'm take that or leave it. Anyhow and anyway, let's see the resources that you have available to you as it relates to this information. We have guides. So it's so interesting to have that boundary come out with what will keep you in alignment, and then also have the resource being the guides, right? So again, I think it's a boundary around picking people who are going to guide you and guide you in the direction that feels most fulfilling for you. And you have these resources available to you. I'm almost like I'm seeing somebody now with a YouTube, like searching YouTube for the idea that you have. And I'm seeing the boundary that you're putting up around that is if it resonates, if it resonates as truth for you, you will be open to it. If it doesn't resonate as truth for you, that's where you're putting the boundary up. And in part, I feel like it is your senses that are guiding you. I do feel like there could be outside information coming in order for you to learn more. But ultimately, I feel like you have the resource of a higher vibrational guide, both within yourself and outside of yourself. I have a clock imagery here, and I don't know what question I want to ask for that. I feel like this does have to do with time. It doesn't always, but within this reading, I feel like the question for this is, when does this information that you received become integrated and embodied? Join forces. But more so with the joining forces, there's a puzzle piece. I'm not sure how clearly that can come in, but there's a puzzle piece that, like the final piece that's coming in. So more information may be coming in as it relates to this idea. And I do feel like, remember we talked about the planning thing is the key. I think this has something to do with that as well, because this seems like the more you plan, the more you're putting pieces together. And the more you do that, it allows you to integrate those pieces and act from those pieces. If I believe this information is true, how will I act differently? I'm hearing something along the lines of really nurturing your nervous system. This feels like it's been a key for my readings for like the past 2 or 3 weeks. Is a big nervous system activation. And when I think about this from the perspective of the season that I'm in the Northern Hemisphere, which is coming shortly into summer here, it would make sense because it's right before this like full bloom, right? Things are already starting to bloom, flowers are already starting to come, but it's like we hit that summer season and everything really starts to emerge and get bigger. So I feel like even for timing, I think that this is all going to come together here in the summer months. But even more so, it feels like there's going to be something seen very clearly. We'll get to that position, but we'll have to touch back on that because that energy is coming through. But I'm not yet seeing how it resonates with the cards. So Let's see what keeps you connected to this information you've received. We've got observe. I like this card too because of the water underneath here and the observation. It feels like really observing emotions. Again, cry if you need to cry. You know, it's like scream or run or do something physical when you're angry to kind of get that anger out of you, and so that you can see the underneath, the what's below those emotions. Because typically when somebody does something, it wouldn't matter if what they did wasn't connected to something that we believe, or just something along those lines. Like there's a deeper seed to why our emotions get triggered. And this idea that you have this new information that you've received allows you to stay connected by observing the emotion that you have. No judgment, no trying to change it, but just really truly observing it, letting it come to its full completion, and then getting the wisdom and the knowledge that that emotion or that emotional situation allowed you to understand or navigate or whatever it is, but there's wisdom and knowledge in it. All right, let's see what is revealed through this crown chakra, through this information that you've received. We have grounding. And this is more of what I was talking about. We've got that hummingbird up here that they move their wings move so fast, but they can stay very still. So you're going to see that, again, I don't know what this information was, but whatever this information that you've received or continue to receive. So I'm starting to almost feel like when you are somehow in a nervous system activation, that there is another part of you that tells you, that gives you the higher perspective. I don't know if this is something that you haven't accepted yet. Actually, it feels like that, because it feels like you're trying to kind of work with coming into this awakening of your senses. And what I mean by that is you feel the feelings, you start questioning why it's happening. And then the interesting thing with that crown chakra is like you start asking the questions of, what was my part in this? Why does this feel so triggering? Whatever the answers to those questions are, it feels like what's coming through now is your ability to hear that higher aspect of yourself, the one that's really guiding you, that kind of parent. It feels like a mix between male and female divine energy of really nurturing yourself and really moving or taking action from what you feel is good, right, and true, so to speak. Okay, this card also came out, set free. So that's another, it feels like you're going to be set free from those emotions. And it seems as though you're going to see that you're set free from those emotions when you're able to sit in them. Emotions are not the bad guy. They're very, very informative, but it feels like for this particular collective, that isn't how you've experienced emotions for a good portion of your life. And so I think that this is why it's so altering. And I also think that's why we have this detour, because you're in a phase where, because of the information you're receiving, you don't have to act the same way that you used to act when these things would come up. All right, let's see what protects this information and protects you grounding, being able to be grounded. We've got rebirth. This just really gives the feel for me of I know I keep talking about emotions, but this really feels heavily centered around this. So the rebirth feels like that's the protection. Allowing the emotions to be reborn into something that is of high vibrational use for you. Even if it is knowledge that you would have rather gotten maybe not through such a negative experience, there's something about that with when you allow that to be reborn, to say, okay, at least now I'm more aware of when this comes up and I know how to navigate it because of this situation. There's it's like you can feel gratitude and also be very discomforted and, not exactly like your experience, but understand that this experience allowed something to be born of it. It's reminding me of like the caterpillar becoming the butterfly. All right, my friends, that's what I have for you today. If you felt really seen, very supported, I ask that you reciprocate that support. My Venmo and my PayPal are located in the description. If you'd like to support this space in a free way, liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel do just that, and it helps these messages reach more people. And I really appreciate your support. Till the next time, my friends.